Yep, they're in their cars.
Up, Jared, can you
Oh,
hear us?
yep, we hear you.
Okay, we're gonna start with Mookie.
Hey Jerry, how's it going, big dog?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm okay. We was just speaking with Devin just a minute ago, and he said that you guys were, in the meeting talk about, what was happening in Wisconsin. I just wanted to know what was your take and how do you feel about the situation?
Uh, how I feel about the meeting last night or the Wisconsin incident?
The Wisconsin incident.
It's a horrible, disgusting, tragic incident that took place. I'm still trying to understand why the people who are sworn to protect and serve Americans are still shooting Americans in their backs. They're still shooting and killing Americans by stepping on their necks and things like that. Doc Rivers said it best. This is a country that my ancestors, your ancestors, have worked so hard for, and we love this country. We love being in this country. We just want the people who live in this country to respect us and to treat us like humans as well. So, Dr. King, he laid it out beautiful in his "I Have a Dream" speech. We're still waiting for those days to come where African-American men and women will be treated with the same respect as other Americans have been getting throughout this entire time in this country. So I'm still disgusted, heartbroken as to what's going on, because these violent acts by police officers have been taking place since my great-grandparents were alive, and probably even before then. It probably dates back to slavery. And I really wish, as Americans, as people who love to ridicule us for taking knees and things like that, I really wish that those people who feel the way they feel about the flag and feel so passionate about standing up, I wish that they would hold that national anthem and that flag to the core values that it's supposed to be held to. The founding forefathers of this country wrote a Declaration of Independence in which all men are supposed to be, I should say, created equal. And I guess it's 2020, and we're still waiting for that date to come around.
Absolutely. Speaking of 2020, that defensive line was getting after today. Just talk about how good it felt just actually getting out there, getting some game day reps with those guys.
It felt great, getting out here in the stadium, being able to simulate a game as much as possible, getting those reps, getting our communication down, getting a feel for how it's going to be in the stadium without fans and things of that nature. I think today was a great job of us using all of our tools, everything that we've been working on, dating all the way back from the spring with those Zoom calls to our meetings and our practice throughout training camp. I think today was a great stepping stone in us moving forward to being that cold front, for us being that top defensive unit, especially the defensive line unit that we want to be this year. So we're just moving in the right direction right now, and today was a great stepping stone.
Absolutely. Hey, man, introduce you to Cold Front 2.0, man. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, Jerry, Heather Prusak here. I wanted to ask you, obviously the NBA didn't play last night, the WNBA, some MLB teams didn't play. What do you see the NFL or you guys as a team doing any kind of demonstration or anything like that? And also, how do you think that you guys as the Bills can use your platform to bring light to these social injustices that we're seeing in the world?
I know for us as a team, we spoke about it last night. What could we do collectively as a unit, as an organization, to let the outside world know, let the nation know how we feel, where do we stand? And so I think we're still working on what appropriate message would be for us to come out and say. But, I echo to the guys that for us, we should start by using our platform and using our voice, because that is the biggest action that we have, to just voice equality, voice that, yes, we do say Black Lives Matter, but we say it in the sense of all American lives matter. So we're not putting one in front of the other. We just want Black lives to be just as important as your American life, the next person's American life. It shouldn't be one has a priority over the other. We should all be in this together, in this fight together, to being equality and peace and love amongst all people around the world, honestly. So I think what the NBA is doing, they did a great job of grabbing the nation's attention since they're in playoff mode and they have all the media access and things like that. And I just continue to echo to our guys to, when you're out there on your social media platform or you're speaking to the media, speaking to you guys, make sure you really use your voice and let the people know the importance of voting. That's one of the things that we speak about, and how one, you got to get registered, and two, you got to vote, so that way you can exercise the simple American liberties that we have in this country. Some countries don't allow you to participate in a vote that goes, or doesn't have a democracy, I should say. And so since we have that democracy, feel free to participate, and it starts from your local legislation all the way up to the state, even to the president of the United States. So there's so much that you can affect and so much change you can make by using your voice and voting. And I know that's one of the four things that we spoke a lot about as a team, is letting the outside world know, especially the people here in Buffalo, New York, the importance of voting, because it's great to protest. It's great to go to social media and make a hashtag, but now to follow up with some action. And that action is doing what we do here in America, contributing to the democracy and voting and putting who you want in office, listening to those people who have their voice and their platform. Whoever you want to put into office, you go out there and you vote for.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yep.
Hey, Jerry, how's it going, man? It's good to see you. Curious, you just spoke to us about using your platform as an athlete on social media and when speaking to the media. I'm curious, what goes through your mind? How does it make you feel when you speak out on issues and you get responses back that either tell you, keep politics out of sports. This isn't your place to say X, Y, Z, essentially to shut up and dribble. What is your reaction when you get that response to issues that are, obviously inherently important to you?
Yeah, some people are ignorant, and not to offend anyone, but sometimes ignorance needs to be educated. And I think when people tell us athletes, just play football, focus on stuff like that, we have to remind them that once we take off that football jersey and we go home to our prospective states, or even by me driving home to my house here in Buffalo, New York, I'm viewed as a Black man, not a football player, not Jerry Hughes. I am a Black man. If they're looking for a Black man with curly hair on the streets, 6'2" description, I fit that description. That's who they're going to come after. And I think people have to understand that. I think the more and more we talk about it, the more light we bring into the situation. I need to understand that this is what my father goes through, my siblings, my kids. People look like me. They go through this on a daily basis where they can't throw out an NFL call. Okay, well, I'll lower my gun and take my finger off the trigger because you play in the NFL. A lot of people aren't rewarded that fame pass, as I like to say. It is what it is. It's a fame pass that we get as athletes. And so that's why we use this platform, because there's such a small percentage of athletes here on this stage doing this. And there's so many more people who look like us who don't get the same treatments that we get. And do we think it's fair? No. Do we ask for it? No. But we do know at the end of the day, when this game is done with, when we go home in the off season, or better yet, when I go home today and I'm walking around the streets of America, I'm still a Black man. I think people need to understand that, respect that, recognize it, and just view it for what it is, and understand that my social media platform, our social media platforms are here to bring knowledge and to bring awareness as to what goes on in the world, because we're here to make this place a better place for my kids, for your kids, and for everyone else.
Thank you, Jerry.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, no problem. Hey, Jerry. It's been George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, Jacob Blake. Thank God he survived. Most recently are some of the names. And we see the NBA not hold games, MLB not hold some games. You guys are having discussions as to how you can help in the community. Do you have hope for this country and this nation that the NBA took a pause last night and that you guys are figuring out ways to work in the community? Or is it hard to have hope when these things happen month after month?
Uh, I have hope. Just speaking with my father the past couple of nights and just listening to what his generation says and how they view it versus my generation, I think I have hope on the terms of my generation. It seems like we're fed up with it. The older generation was more so of you got to abide by these hidden codes, abide by these hidden rules in order for you to survive and just live in America. And yes, I was taught those same codes and rules of how to deal with police officers when they're approaching you and things like that. But with education, you come to learn that some of the way that they interrogate Black people versus other races, it's not the same, nor should it be, where there's a discrepancy versus white and Black. It should be everyone gets treated the same. So I think with my generation, we are holding the Constitution up to its bullet points, that all men are created equal. And I think when you have people who are willing to stand up for what's right in a nonviolent fashion and try to really ignite some change among the country, really inform people, the importance of how voting is and how we can make a difference. Because, my ancestors died for the right for African Americans votes. There are other ancestors who fought for women to get the right to vote. So you see that we are finally getting our opportunity to be involved in the democracy system. We should take full advantage of it and not let that fall on deaf ears. So I think that change is certainly coming. Yeah, it might be a little bit delayed, but before my kids turn 30, I think that we'll have a new and better America.
And then Daryl Johnson starts off the scrimmage with the tip pass from Josh Allen, and Mike Love has 2 sacks. I mean, what is so special about the depth in the defensive line room?
I think it's the fact that each guy comes in every day and is willing to compete. And the fact that we work so well amongst our group, we want everyone to go out there, play well, contribute to the team, make TFLs, tip passes, get sacks. So that way we can go out there and be the top defensive unit that we know we can be. So when you have guys who are young guys who understand that and they're answering that bell, they're stepping up when, the lights turn bright, that's huge, especially when those guys are able to kind of listen to coach, listen to some of us veteran players, take those words and go out there, play fast on the field. We know that we're setting up the right pieces in play to go out there September 13th and play fast.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry, it's Jason Wolf at the Buffalo News. Greatly appreciate your time and hearing your thoughts and your insight as always. So thank you for doing this. I had 2 questions for you. The first, you had mentioned a little while ago about getting out in the stadium today, finding out sort of a little bit what it might be like without fans in the stands. I was hoping you could kind of expand on that a little bit, your thoughts on how no crowd noise or limited crowd noise or maybe fake crowd noise, that comes to pass, will affect you and in particular, and also just the concept of home field advantage in general.
Yeah, it was a little different coming out here in our stadium with it not being filled the way it has been in past years. But I think Coach did a great job of trying to simulate the crowd noise so that way it would force us to communicate effectively more on both sides of the ball. But it's honestly impossible to really, and like I was telling some of the new guys, free agent, young guys that we have, nothing compares to when you have Bills Mafia in that stadium on Sunday and it's 3rd down and I can't hear the person to my left who's 2 inches from my ear talking. Like, there's really no comparison to that, but we did a good job of trying to simulate in a sense, but just the energy and the electric feeling that the fans bring into the stadium on certain situations, you know, them being there throughout the game. I don't think we'll ever get anything close to that feeling just because the fan interaction here has been just the tops as far as around the league.
I was also curious because you posted a photo on Instagram of your helmet earlier this month where you had a face shield on there below the visor, you know, attached to it. Yeah, I see you smiling even through the mask. I was curious if you could hopefully estimate how many guys have used or tried that on the team throughout training camp, and what your thoughts are on that piece of equipment, whether you intend to use that this season.
I think I was the first guinea pig, and I think the guys watched me during one training camp practice just sweat profusely and just get overheated in that helmet that they were like, no, we'll stay away from the COVID shield. I think they have the right frame of mind. They have the right idea with the COVID shield, but it's too tough to play football with the mouthpiece running around trying to knock someone's head off and breathe with that extra piece of plastic in the way. So I probably won't be playing with it just because we travel a lot. We do go down to Miami and places like that where it's a little warmer. So I kind of want to make sure I'm not cramping up or doing anything like that. But it's pretty hot in that helmet. I can say that for sure.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Be well, man.
No problem. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Hey, Jerry, Thad Brown from WRLC in Rochester. Wanted your take on your reaction to the meeting last night, and maybe what was the emotion like amongst the teammates? Is it anger, frustration? And then for this being a topic that you're very clearly not only passionate about but knowledgeable about, what was your reaction to the opinions and basically the conversation in the room about how to go forward with this?
I think it was it was great for us as a team. It was great for guys to be vulnerable and to speak how they feel. And I think very rarely do we get that as men to open up and talk about our feelings and talk about the way certain events around the world make us feel. So for Coach to open up that forum for us and for everyone on the team to kind of just be open about it, not looking to judge or point any fingers, but really listen to what the other person has to say and then get up there, speak, rebuttal, or do whatever it is that you wanted to do. I think it was great. It was great for us to get that out there because it's a topic that it's kind of taboo. It's kind of awkward. Not too many people want to speak on the racial discrepancy that's happening around in our country. But I think for to see the guys, white, black, Hispanic, it didn't matter. Everyone got up and voiced their opinion, said how they felt about what's taking place, you know, with the police brutality, with the marching, with the flag. You know, I think it was great because we have a lot of guys from all over the U.S. And I was telling the guys, you know, no one's opinion or no one's viewpoint is going to be the same. We all have different upbringings. We all have a different view on how things are taking place. But I think that's what makes America I think that's what makes America such a great country is we're all different. We all have our different religious beliefs. We all have our different political beliefs, but we can always come together under the fact that we love and respect each other because they're different. And we understand that we might not all be the same, but we can still come to that one mutual agreement. So I think it was great for us to get all that out there to speak about it because, like I said, everyone's coming from all over the nation, different political backgrounds. So it was good to see how guys think and feel about that whole topic last night.
Really appreciate your thoughts on this, Jerry. Thanks for your time.
No problem, Thad. Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, Jerry. George Radney, Challenger Community News and 105.5 The Beat. You mentioned your dad, that you talked to your dad a couple of times. How's it going down there in that Sugarland, Texas area? I know last time I stayed down there was a little low-lying. There are some areas down there that are low-lying. Did they get any flooding?
There are some low-lying areas there. Surprisingly, thank God that storm has moved more on the east side part of Houston. So Sugarland's more southwest. So I think right now they're getting a couple of thunderstorms right now. So far they're good. Not too much rain or flood water or anything like that. Thanks for that, though.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it. And my football question, the NFLPA, have they been in contact with each team or with the Bills that you know of? Maybe some of your representatives, have they contacted you regarding the Wisconsin situation or some of these other professional teams shutting down briefly?
You know, if they normally contact us through our email, and I've been so busy with camp and things like that. I normally check my email on Saturdays on my off days, so I don't want to say yes or no to that because they are very good on getting out to us and speaking with us when it comes to these issues because they know how we feel as a NFLPA. So I don't want to say yes or no because they could have sent out an email or a message or a note, and it's just me personally, I haven't really come across it yet.
Okay, and last but not least, with the face shield, they don't have any type of vents in there where you could where you could breathe some fresh air in, just like Miami, where it's extremely hot and humid.
Right.
They haven't gotten to that aspect of it, and also with crowd noise, you're one of those players that definitely feeds off of the Bills Mafia in home games for sure. Do you think that how that will affect your play?
Well, with the face shields, they did implement some holes at the bottom, but they still kind of have a screen covering those holes just to kind of keep all the sweat and any kind of perspiration that might fall from you to really keep it on yourself. So it's very similar to like these masks, which is still kind of tough playing football in a mask or anything around your mouth or nose area because you just need that extra ventilation to breathe really. And what was the second question?
Oh, about the crowd, having the actual crowd feeding off of the crowd noise.
Crowd noise is going to be a huge factor. A lot of us on defense has been talking about that just because we rely on them to make it so hard for the offense to communicate. And then especially with me being on the edge, I love it when I get the tackle who, you know, it's third down and we just pump the crowd up and he's leaning in harder to hear that snap count or trying to really get a view of what that guard might be saying or doing. So those little tidbits that kind of help us play faster, us on the defense will certainly miss it just because that's what makes the game is the 12th man being out there, the Bills Mafia doing what they do best, causing a disturbance, being that extra force on the field. We know we're going to miss them greatly this year.
Thanks, Jerry. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and good luck this upcoming season.
Thank you, man. You have a good one.